All right, so now we're looking at 9.4. We're looking at special right triangles part 2. So in the last section, we looked at the pattern for 45, 45, 90. So if the angles were 45, 45, 90, we showed you the pattern. There's another special right triangle we're going to look at, and that's when the angles are 30, 60, 90. Remember, all three of the angles have to add up to 180. 30, 60, 90 adds up to 180. So if you have this pattern 30, 60, 90, all right, then once again, just like last time, there are two patterns to look at. The first one is x square root of 3, and 2x. Okay. Now, here's the other difference. Since these angles are not the same, these legs are not going to be the same. So we have to look at the leg across from the 30, the shorter leg, and the leg across from the 60, the longer leg. So in this pattern, the short leg is 30 degrees, or excuse me, the one across from the 30 degrees, the short leg is the x. The longer leg across from the 60 is x square roots of 3, and the hypotenuse is 2x. Now, there's an alternate pattern because remember, we always want to have a pattern where there's every column is represented by something that's not a square root. So in this first one, okay, we use this first pattern when we're given a regular number as the short leg or the hypotenuse. We can find the x very quickly, right? However, if the regular number is given to us as the middle leg or as the longer leg, then the first pattern is not going to help us. So we go through and we multiply everything times the square root of 3 to turn these two into square roots, but to turn this into a 3x. All right, so the second pattern is the short leg, x square root of 3, the long leg, 3x, and the hypotenuse, 2x square roots of 3. Okay, and so that way we have every column represented by one of these patterns as a regular number. All right. And so how do we use it? Well, let's go through and see. This time, instead of asking you just to find one of the missing sides, they ask you to find both of the missing sides. And so, again, what you want to do is you want to say, okay, which side is given to me as a regular number? I have the regular number as an 8, right? And that's across from the 30. So which pattern, okay, avoids the square root at the 30? The first pattern. So that's the one that I'm going to pick. Remember, with the regular number, you want to avoid the square root. All right? So it's going to be the first pattern, 30, 60, 90. All right, so we'll write that down first. And the pattern is x square roots of 3, and 2x square roots of 3. Okay? So I'm given x across from the 30, 8 across from the 30. 8 goes in the 30 column. So it will be here. So what's my x equal to? My x is equal to 8. So now I just put 8 in for x in the other two, and then I've got it. So this would be 8 square roots of 3. This would be 2 times 8, or 16 square roots of 3. And remember, just like in the last lesson, once you get all three of these filled out, you have all the answers. You just got to figure out which one's x and which one's y. So in this one, my x is which one? It's across from the 60. So what's the 60 column? 8 square roots of 3, and my y is the hypotenuse, so which one's the 90? 16 square roots of 3. And then those are your two answers right there. Okay? So like I say, once you plug that in and get all three of these columns, then you've got all three sides of the triangle. You just got to figure out which one is the x and which one is the y. All right, so again, let's practice some more of these. So on this one, I'm given 20 as my regular number, and that's across from the 30. So which pattern avoids the square root in the 30? It would be the first one. So I'm going to pick the first pattern again. So remember, anytime they give you the short leg or the hypotenuse as a regular number, pick the first pattern. If you have the long leg as a regular number, integer number, then you're going to pick the second pattern. So again, we're given the short leg. How do I know? Because the short leg is across from the 30 column. So we'll write the pattern in, 30, 60, 90. Make sure you write the patterns in first. X, because that helps you keep everything straight when you plug in. So the middle column is x square root of 3, and then the last column is 2x, the 90 column. So where does 20 go? 20 is going to go in place of the 30 column, so that means 20 goes here. So that means my x is equal to 20. So then I'm going to replace x with 20 in the other two columns. So this becomes 20 square roots of 3. This becomes 20 times 2, or 40. Okay? So there you go. Now, remember what these are. These are all three of the sides of the right triangle. You just got to figure out which one is x and which one is y. All right, so which one is the x? The x is across from the 60. So what's the 60 column? 20 square roots of 3. The y is the hypotenuse. It's the 90 column. Y equals 40. And there you go. You got both of your answers. All right, that's it. Okay, next one. What do we got here? Okay, I'm given 18 as my regular number. 18 is the hypotenuse. So once again, if you're given the hypotenuse as a regular number, you want to pick the first pattern because you want to avoid square roots when you're given an integer number for that column. So again, we're still using the first pattern. So it's going to be 30, 60, 90. The first pattern is x, x square roots of 3, and 2x. All right? So 18 is across from the 90, right? So what column does the 18 go in? 18 goes in the 90 column. So it goes here. So what do we have? We have 2x is equal to 18. Well, if 2x equals 18, what's x equal to? 18 divided by 2, which is 9. All right? So remember, if 2x equals to 18, that means x equals to 9. Right? You can divide both sides of that equation by 2 because this is 2x. Well, if 2x equals to 18, then 1x is equal to 9. So what am I going to plug in here and here? A 9. 9 and 9 square roots of 3. Again, these are my answers. I just got to figure out now which one is x and which one is y. The x is the 30 column, which is 9 square roots of 3. And the y is the 60 column. So I actually wrote that backwards. The x is the 30 column, and the 30 column is 9. The y is the 60 column, and so the y is 9 square roots of 3. All right? So those are your two correct answers. All right? Let's practice a few more of these here now. So on this one, my hypotenuse is given to me as a regular number. So what that means is I'm going to use that first pattern again. So we're still actually using the first pattern. 30, 60, 90. Remember, if the short leg, the 30, or the hypotenuse, the 90, is given as a regular number, you're going to use the first pattern. So let's write it down. It's x, x square roots of 3, and 2x. So where does 11 go? Which column? 11 is across from the 90. It goes in the 90 column. And so 2x is equal to 11. Now this time when we divide this out, it's not going to be a whole number, but that's fine. What's 11 divided by 2? 5.5. So what goes in for x? 5.5. And in the middle column, 5.5 square roots of 3. And that's just fine. Okay? And so again, if this is not an even number, then this will end up being something 0.5. Okay? So now, which one's the x and which one's the y? Well, what column is the x? It's the 30, 5.5. And what column is the y? It is the 60, so that's 5.5 square roots of 3. All right, so there we go. There's your answer. All right, let's go with the next one now. We're looking at 15. So what is 15? It is the middle column, the 60 column. And so remember, if the middle column is given to you as a regular number, you want to avoid square roots, so we'll go to the second pattern. So this is actually the first example where we've used the second pattern. So let's write it in. A 30, a 60, a 90. And what's my second pattern? It's going to be x square roots of 3, 3x, and 2x square roots of 3. All right? Now, 15 is in the middle column because it's across from the 60. It's the long leg. So I'm going to put my 15 here. Right? So if 3x equals to 15, then what's my x equal to? Well, I need to do 15 divided by 3 to get 5. So my x is 5. So anywhere in the other two columns I see an x, I'm going to put a 5. So that makes this 5 square roots of 3. Whoops. And that's going to make this 2 times 5, which is 10 square roots of 3. So now I've got all of the columns filled in. I've just got to figure out which one is which. And then so my x is the 30 column, which is 5 square roots of 3. My y is the hypotenuse, which is 10 square roots of 3. And then so there you go, 2 answers. And so again, since our 60 middle column was the one that was given to us as a regular number, we picked the second pattern. Really just one more we want to take a look at here. And so on this one, again, my 60 is given to me as the regular number. So once again, just like in the last one, we're going to use the second pattern. Write it down. What is it? 30, 60, 90, x, square roots of 3, 3x, 2x, square roots of 3. All right, so my 60 is 18. That's the middle column going to be 18. So I need to divide this number by 3. What's 18 divided by 3 going to give me? 6. So my x is 6. So that's 6 square roots of 3. 2 times 6, which is 12 square roots of 3. And now which one is the x and which one's the y? Because remember, you've got all 3 answers now. And so my x is across from the 30. So that's going to be 6 square roots of 3. And my y is the hypotenuse, so it's going to be the 90 column, which is 12 square roots of 3. And so there you go.